Okay. So what we've included for you is a sampled document, but it's something that we will likely use on future site visits. So what I'll say really briefly is there's two different types of visits that we do. If you're in the first cohort, you've most likely experienced both of those visits already. If it's your first time here, our first visit out probably won't occur until next year. So just kind of take that for what it's worth. And it's what we call an initial visit, probably going to last a day, and by a day, maybe 5 or 6 hours. Is this a chance for us to come out, meet with you? Very informal in that. The overarching goal is just to see if between August 15 of this year, where your grant has begun, and at some point next year, things are in a decent to good place, if you need any technical assistance, things of that nature. The next visit we do is what we call a comprehensive visit. And that visit takes about a day and a half to 2 days, depending on how many sites you have, or if you're Los Angeles County, even longer, but surrounded by great staff, great staff. But for the most part, about a day and a half. And what we do on that more comprehensive visit is we review your program, fiscal, administrative data. So all the fun things that we mentioned to you today will be part of our visit, I would say, the next time we come out. So what does that look like? So kind of really high level. Some of the things that we're going to check for, and I have them kind of pre-done, so make it nice and easy for you. And again, if you go to the Resources tab of your binder, to be the last thing you have to flip through, I promise. And you're going to find something that says Corrections Planning and Grants Program Division, CMV tool. It's going to look like this. It'll say sample on it. And I'll just give you the numbers on this document that you should check off, so that way you don't have to worry about retaining it for now, but you can make sure to circle back to it. So item number 3, where it says organizational chart, many of you come from very large agencies. I don't really need to see the people that are 8,000 levels above you or around you, surrounding you. As it pertains specifically to the Prop 47 grant program, what does that flow look like? So be prepared to have that. Duty statements, number 4. So check 3, 4, and you can make your way down to number 5 as well. For any grant-funded staff, we want a duty statement. And so what should that include? Real high level, what does that job function entail? If the position is crafted specifically for the Proposition 47 position, great, then you can just provide us that statement. But for the most part, our experience shows that many of you are working on 4 or 5 different projects. It's split funded. So when that when that individual is working on Prop 47, what is he or she tasked with doing? And again, you should have that for all of the grant-funded positions. Know that you'll have to do time tracking. I believe that was covered earlier today. On number 8, we talked earlier about subcontracts, and then specifically I mentioned there's certain language that we want to see in all of your agreements with providers. You've been forewarned. Again, it's the 3rd time we've mentioned it, so make sure you have that taken care of. Beneath that, number 9, the non-governmental assurances. Again, we spent a great deal amount of time. We even included a screenshot from the Secretary of State's website. Again, whenever you add on new providers and they've gone through whatever local procurement process that they need to complete, you must keep assurances there. Like I said, the things that I look for at a minimum is that the business or the provider has registration with the Secretary of State's office. If your city, county, school district, et cetera, has additional requirements, please have that handy as well. I would mention that this is the portion of the visit that typically takes the most time because it's not been fleshed out. So save yourself some time there. If you go down to the fiscal section, fiscal policies and procedures, and this pertains more so to the lead agency, but when we do visit the providers, just so you know, we will ask them as well if they have documented processes for processing their invoices and things of that nature. Again, just to make sure that there's a clear quality control process in place as well. And then I'm going to skip all the way ahead to the program review section. We talked again about the local advisory committee. Again, we're going to ask you for all this fun stuff. Again, we're giving you the answers to the test, so please get an A. It's really hard for me to see everyone not get an A. So again, on your local advisory committee, the things that we'll be looking for, how have you demonstrated that you've made your meetings open and accessible to the public? Does your local advisory committee reflect the Prop 47 RFP or the spirit of the RFP? Again, it does not need to be verbatim, but again, the spirit of it should be easily identified for those that are there. And then the last thing that we will end on will be number 6, policies and procedures. So what do we mean here? This speaks more so to the program component. So earlier, right after lunch, I believe I flagged conversations on leadership and communication. And one of the things that we flagged that was so important was documenting everything. And so when we say program manual or policies and procedures, what we're really referring to here is how does your program work? What is the structure? And so the common example I give is if someone was out for an extended period of time, could someone pick up a document, a piece of paper, something that explains, here's how the program works, here's how someone gets into the program, here's where someone goes for services. For all of you in the room, your proposal includes this information already. It typically is just not put together in one place that's easy to access. So again, it can be to whatever level of detail that you think would be helpful. If someone was coming in behind you, they knew nothing about the program, and they had to take over for an extended period of time. So although I flagged some of the really high-level things, and again, it does not mean that we won't look for other components on the visit. It just means that these are things that might require some greater preparation. As we get closer to visits, our team will definitely schedule calls with you. We'll send you this information electronically, and we'll prep. So again, for those of you that are in cohort 2, your first visit likely will not occur until next year for 2 reasons. 1, we've had the implementation period, and 2, we want to see something. I love seeing your faces, but sitting in a conference room isn't always the best use of your time, and that's not really fair to you either because we can have a conference call. So most likely, next year will be your first visit. Will likely just be a day visit. Do not be surprised if a large team of BSSC staff come down for the very first visit because everyone's excited and we receive questions about what's going on. And so the initial visits are usually our best way to do it. The comprehensive visits require a bit more workload. I usually bring a bit more of a smaller team down, but again, we'll prep you for those as well. Any questions and or concerns at this time? I wish I had a mirror so that you can see your faces. It looks like this has just been the day of all days. Please, Aubrey. Absolutely.
Will there be any webinar training before the cloud-based reporting system comes out?
Yes, we will have information available. We will have a training of some sort. I want to commit to a webinar as well, but the technology may be dependent on some other things, but our goal is to have both of those options available to you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. One thing that is keeping me up.
Oh, that's not a good start to your question.
Is thinking about how we're going to separate cohort 1 and cohort 2 clients. So
keeping me up as well.
I know you guys are thinking about it, but once we learn that, we can start with the evaluation plan. So
absolutely, and thank you for acknowledging that. I know I've had individual level conversations with some of you about this. There will be follow-up on it. It's not at all something that we are neglected or we haven't thought about. Far from it. We've had a lot of internal conversations already. I think we've been trying to find a place that's reasonable in terms of what to ask and what to request. I think I even mentioned to Jamie a little bit earlier that we may end up doing 12 specific approaches as opposed to just a standardized approach, but we're still working through on it. But there's more to come, and we absolutely know that there's an urgency behind getting some clarity there, and we're feeling it too. We're absolutely feeling it too. But thank you. I appreciate the question. Anyone else? All right, great. Well, the good news is that we've reached the end of our time together for today. I really hope that this day was informative. I hope you were able to make some connections. I hope it was certainly worth your time. In the following weeks, we will share as much as we can electronically. Due to the size of the information, it may be a Dropbox link or something to that avail. Do expect a lot of emails from us just in the run-up, just because there's a lot of different things to flesh out, but we'll try to be succinct. Take your binders with you, write in them, share them with others, and thank you so much for joining us today, and please get back home safely wherever that might be.